This is Flip Flops. Welcome back to Flick Flops, the podcast where we discuss films that the critics panned and we tell you if they actually land. That rhyme sucked. Anyway, this week we're looking at Kandahar, a 2023 action thriller with Gerard Butler starring as an undercover CIA operative.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say.
Yeah, there you
go. As an undercover CIA operative who gets stuck in hostile territory after his mission gets exposed. Does this movie deliver, or should it be buried in the sands of Afghanistan? Join Andy and I right now as we discuss
Kandahar, Gary. Let me give you some quick. Hold on. Let me do this. Where's my thing at? Numbers, ladies and gentlemen. You asked for them, and I got them. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 47% with the top critics, 82% with the audience. One of them is closer to my opinion. We'll wait and see.
Drum roll.
Budget for this thing was $37 million. The box office for this film was $7 million.
Oh, wow.
So, in the world of flick flop, this definitely falls in the flop area.
Well, this was a flick.
It was a flick and a flop.
Undoubtedly a flop.
It was definitely a flop. Writer, written by a guy named Mitchell LaFortune. I don't know anything else by this guy. He's got other stuff, nothing that I've noted. So I'm not trying to slam the guy. Directed by Rick Roman Wah. Is his last name. And again, I looked up his IMDb. Nothing.
How do you pronounce it?
It's the last name is Waugh. Wah, woo, woof.
Yeah, me.
If you live in Amelia, it's Clow or Clough Pike, so wah or woof. There's a nice timely reference for the one other person living in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, he's directed other things, nothing that I felt needed to be noted here. And I'm not a slam on these guys. I'm not here to crap on people. Just nothing anybody would recognize. So that's that, and that's all I got for numbers, man. I don't have a whole lot on this one, so let's just.
I mean, that says a lot. What'd you say, 37, and it made 7?
Yeah, it's lost a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we can just move on to this.
Ratings.
Hold on, I just saw your name too, by the way. I have to look at that before I do anything.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
I do love a pun. Let me do real quick. I did pull out one review.
Or funny, just for the
ratings wise. I'm gonna pull up this one review, and I'll kind of tell you where I land with this one. Jeff Mitchell, who writes for the Art House Film Wire, his real quick review is: our heroes need to catch a plane in Kandahar, but this pedestrian action flick never takes off. I would agree. I give this. Let me get down to my numbers here, Gary.
Are you doing rate? Oh, we're doing ratings.
We're doing ratings. I just already did the thing. It's on. It's happening. I'm moving this show along.
Up.
Boom.
Interesting.
3.5 turds. This is almost a full turd burger. But the only notes I have for this film, and I mean, there's not a lot of conversation to go with this. It's slow, it drags, and it's predictable. If you want to watch a movie about war in the desert, I mean, there's plenty of other ones. Go watch We Three Kings. Go watch Black Hawk Down. Go watch American Sniper. There's better movies. Now, again, I believe this is based a little bit on a true story, and this guy did go back and help this guy. And I mean, that's noble and that's fine. It's just the movie itself. It moves at a slow pace. The action is nothing great, nothing to write home about. I mean, I'm watching this movie and I kept checking the time, like, when's this going to be over? I didn't want to tap out. I just was like, I've seen stuff like this, and I've seen better versions of this. So that's where I land with this film. I would not tell anybody to go. Don't take your time out of your day to watch this film. Your life will continue whether you see this movie. there's people I tell, there's films that you and I have, Gary, that I'd say to people like, before you die, you have to see The Usual Suspects. You need to see Memento 3 or 4 times to understand it, but you need to see it.
Need to watch
Kandahar is not in that list at all. It's like the movies you don't need to ever waste energy on. It's Kandahar. Sorry, guys.
Before we go any further, let me just throw this out there. I'm giving it a 2 TP.
Oh, a little more generous. So you love this movie is what I'm getting. That's how I read that.
No. Yeah. No.
What?
I would put this in the camp. If anybody's curious about what kind of movie this is, I would put this in the Homeland camp. If you watch the Showtime series Homeland.
Yeah, I don't.
It has a lot of that. Now that show to me, that series is a slow burn. And this movie definitely has that. It has its moments of action. There's some interesting heroic parts that go into it. I kind of feel like maybe it's somebody who's seen action overseas in this kind of type of setting maybe would get a little bit more out of it, just in the sense of camaraderie with brothers in arms kind of thing.
Sure.
There's a few moments of that in there. I didn't hate it though. I for the most part I enjoyed it. But
wrong.
But it is not a movie that I think is for everybody for sure. And I gave it 2 because for that reason mostly. It is slow. It does have some cool little action moments, but for the most part, I do agree with you in the sense of this is not in the handful of movies that you grab when you're like, oh, we all got to sit down and watch this, or hey, you haven't seen this yet, make sure you see it. Nah. Am I gonna say that you should go see it? No, but if you like that kind of movie, if you like that series, that kind of CIA kind of spy thing going on, it's not a lot of there's not a lot of that part of it going on. It's more of the getting caught. It's him trying to escape basically from this hostile territory.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of underlying political messages being thrown in and around there. Which I think really ends up at the end of the day, watching it from the beginning, and you kind of get wrapped, if you get into it, you get wrapped up into that kind of, I'm not going to talk politics on here.
Yeah.
But it does show you there are no sides to certain things. There's a lot of gray area in a lot of the things that's happened over many years. And I think that plays out a little bit in here.
Sure.
With the certain things that happen. And there are no winners at war, I guess really is what it ultimately comes down to.
Except for the defense contractors. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any notes. I just put not bad.
Yeah, it's a film like for me, like I said, predictable in the sense of like you can see where some of this is going. Like there's gonna be a struggle. I mean, there's a couple things I didn't see coming where they kind of mislead you in a way of like a little bit of a double cross that maybe pays off later. But even then, I was like, I don't know. If I'd have paid money to see this movie, I might have been a little like irritated, not mad, but like, I wish I'd spent my money on something else. But like you always say, I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't feel robbed of my time. I just was like, no.
Saw it and I moved on.
Yeah, well, so I guess for me is whenever I see a film like this, I kind of have in my head what to expect. A lot of action, heart racing, and I didn't get a lot of that. There are action. Don't misunderstand me. There's action in this film, just not the kind like where I was on the edge of my seat. I was just like, yeah, okay, he's gonna struggle to get out, and yeah it makes sense. Again, I referenced like We Three Kings. That was a great movie from the 90s. But Black Hawk Down. I mean, those films are edge of your seat type films. I thought this was going to be like that, and it was not for me. So that's it.
All right.
The foot is down. I've got nothing else to say.
And my foot is down. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it either. It's just one of those ones that either it lands for you or it doesn't. I don't think you're going to be walking away from this movie saying that one's going in my library.
Right.
This is not one of those movies. But again, if you like those kind of movies, sit down and watch it. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, this is a very short episode for us on Flick Flops, but why not do that every now and then to not belabor the point or beat the dead horse, so to speak.
So there you go. Don't watch it.
Or
watch it.
Or watch it. I don't know.
Do whatever.
But if you do watch it and then you're mad that I said watch it, just remember I didn't say watch it. I said or watch it. So there's a little bit of hesitancy.
Gary, it sounds like you're a little wishy-washy. You're like a politician. You're flippy-flopping. You should take us out of here right now.
I should. All right. Thanks for joining us, people. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
We'll talk in just 3 or 4 of you.
Yay, we're not going to Kandahar.
Yay.